Hey everybody, Dave here. Hope you're having an awesome day. So, at the beginning of summer, my neighbor across the street from me, or around the corner, had a yard sale, and he's actually a super cool guy. We kind of talk nerd talk and toys and Star Wars and stuff. And he had this little army action figure that's from I think he said it was like from a bowling alley, like you win a prize. And so I got him for $1, and I was like, I really want to do something cool with him, but I'm not sure what. And then about a week ago, I found this guy at a yard sale for 25 cents. He's kind of broken. He doesn't really hold his pose, but it is a Jurassic Park figure. So I thought, I kind of want to turn him into like a little green army man character so these two can go together. So I don't know how it's going to turn out. Come on, let's do it. All right, so here is my Jurassic Park dinosaur. The legs are kind of broken. They don't really work. So I'm going to get a pose set up with the army man here and then super glue this in place. Now, the super glue, I'm just getting the nozzle as deep in there as I can, and then I'm going to use this BSI Instaset. It's a kicker that actually helps the glue dry a lot faster. If you've never used it before and you have trouble with your super glue, I highly recommend it. So I'm just continuing to glue the arms and all the other pieces, and then I'll putty it together with a 2-part epoxy. I do use Milliput quite a bit, but I'm going to go ahead and use my Magic Sculpt because I have this already open and I need to use it up. So all it is a 2-part epoxy. You do a 1-to-1 ratio and you mix it up. Makers that use this, I've heard them say mix it like 30 times and you'll get this nice, consistent, even color. And once you have that, you can start working with this stuff. The work time is probably about an hour. So I rolled some little snakes. I'm kind of just mashing it in there and I'll smooth it out. And then I'm essentially doing a little bit of sculpting. I'm looking at the grooves and the patterns that are already in the toy, and I'm trying to mimic that best I can with my sculpting tools. I'll dip this in water and let it helps kind of smooth that out a little bit. And I've seen sculptors do this, so I tried it. It's just a thin piece of plastic. And what it does is it softens the tool marks, so it looks a little bit nicer, and I think it worked out pretty nice for me. So I'm just kind of trying that there. And where I filled some of the screw holes, there was a couple little blank spots where potentially there could have been some spikes. So I went ahead and just made a little triangle, and I'll just blend that in to fill that little hole. Did the same thing on the tail here, and I think that looks pretty cool. And after about an hour or so, you can see it's starting to set up and not really easy to work with anymore. So I've got a little bit more work to do. I'm going to let this dry overnight and I will finish it up in the morning. Okay, so here it is the next morning. It is hardened up. I think this is going to be perfect for me to work with. I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit more of this Magic Sculpt and fill in some of those blank areas there that need to be finished. Now, on the original Jurassic Park, it has this battle damage on the toy, so I'm going to save this, and I think it'll be a fun little bonus for the toy at the end. So stay tuned to the very end and I'll show how that turned out. It's pretty cool. Now I'm looking at the base of the army man that his feet sit on, and I want to do the same for the dinosaur. I was thinking maybe I'll build this out of polystyrene or maybe wood, but then I thought, oh, what about Sculpey clay? That might actually be way easier. So in order to get the height, I took a piece of cardboard and a popsicle stick, and that gave me the correct height. And I had this Sculpey that I found at a yard sale for 25 cents. So I'm like, yes! I love bargains and cheap deals, but it's not always the greatest. This was like bone dry. I don't know if you can actually reconstitute Sculpey or not, so let me know in the comments below if there's a way to do it. But for the sake of time, I went ahead and just grabbed my Super Sculpey that I had and cut off a slice of that. What I'm doing is just taking a wooden dowel, and with my popsicle sticks and cardboard, I'm using that as the gauge for my height, rolling that out. And then once I got that all rolled out to the correct height, I just took an X-Acto blade after sticking the dinosaur on there, and I'm just kind of hand cutting it. I'm just kind of freehanding this almost jelly bean shape that the plastic toys have. So I think this will work out pretty nice. And then I'm just taking my finger and kind of smoothing out any little dents or creases that may have happened. And then after I baked it, I'll just hit it with some sandpaper just to make sure the edges are nice and smooth and round and look how I want them to look. And then once that's finished, I'll take some wet sandpaper, and this will help just knock down any of the major gouges, so it'll be nice and clean. After I primed the dinosaur, I was like, man, there's just the Sculpey ended up a little, or I guess the Magic Sculpt ended up a little too blobby, so I'm taking a dental pick tool and just kind of re-sculpting those lines to blend everything in a little bit better. And then here's the army guy. I need to spray paint him green to match the green that I'll use on the dinosaur, which you can see there in the background. And then I'll super glue these feet down and get that ready to go. All right, so I'm just kind of aligning it. You can see I kind of pressed the feet in there, and that helps me after I'm done baking and stuff to line this up and get it glued in a little bit better. So yeah, I think this one is just about finished, so let's call this one done. Okay, so before you give me any flack, I realize that this is a super goofy, silly, not complicated project, but if you're thinking that way, I think you're missing the point. The idea is, if you have a fun idea, or if you think something's kind of goofy or silly, or if it'll put a smile on your face, and you want to try and make it, go make it. Don't worry about what other people think about it. If it brings you enjoyment, do it and have fun doing it. I think this has a little bit of a nostalgia effect to me with the little army men when I was a little kid, but I think it's funny too, and I enjoyed making it. So I hope you go out, make awesome stuff, and don't really worry about if it doesn't look that great or if you're critiquing yourself and saying, I kind of stink at this. Keep doing it. You get better, and it's a blast. So, as always, it's a great day to be a toy nerd. Have a great one.